Hey everybody, this is Veale, the business guru, coming to you once again in the evening, this time for me, quite late at night, 9:10 to be precise. And I've got a wonderful guest all the way from the other side of the world, is just waking up, having their first cup of coffee or tea, all the way in Peru. I haven't had any guests from Peru this year, so that's pretty awesome. And she's a pretty awesome person too. I'll be telling you about her in the morning, or in the minute, not the morning. I'm going crazy. Guys, if you want your stars on spotlight and come and tell your story to the world, why don't you reach out? It's very easy, guys. Come on, 15 minutes, tell your story to the world. We'll put you across 14 different platforms, all totally free of charge with all your links, and we'll make you more famous and give you more exposure than you've ever had in your whole life. So don't forget to do something like that. Now, our next guest has chosen to do that. She's a lovely lady. Her name, originally from the UK, her name is Natalie Gray. And Natalie is a transformational energy guide and healer. The company name is Natalie Gray. In industry, done this for a long time. She's into health and well-being. Isn't that wonderful? We all need to be healthy and look after ourselves, right? So she's been 23 years plus in the industry, and she offers transformational energy healing and coaching and private and group transformational journeys in the sacred valley of Peru, right? She's listening to guidance that called her to Peru and created a soul journey for others. There's a bit more about that she'll tell you herself. And her personal motto is align, balance, connect, align with what's calling you, find balance, invite more of yourself to connect, more of what's opening up on the path into your life. Right. Interesting fact about herself. She started to write a couple of books, one about her amazing soul journey with a horse she bought, and the second one's about her actual journey and her calling and remembering to come to the sacred valley in Peru. So it's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage early morning, Natalie Gray. How are you, please, Natalie?
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I'm really good. I'm excited to speak and share a little bit of my journey.
Well, here we go.
Thank you for the opportunity.
No, you're most welcome. We love hearing stories like yours. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you to pursue your current career path. Where did it all begin?
Well, it really began with something really difficult and challenging, which was, in 1996. After lots of partying and drug taking, I actually experienced a psychosis.
Wow.
And was hospitalized for a month. And in that time, I didn't know anything about energy or healing path or anything like that at that time.
How old were you?
There was something really, I was 25.
25, wow, too young, eh?
But from there, there was just something in me that really wanted to understand what was happening because it was a really frightening experience.
Absolutely.
So that basically started me on a path of exploration. What happened? What was happening in my mind? You know, what is the mind doing? So I started off with, I got Reiki attuned. That was my first part on the path. And then after that, I did quite a lot of exploration. I took a psychology degree. And various other things to just continually try to explore and understand what was happening in my mind, what creates the things that we experience. And that just led on to a wider path into spirituality. I was part of a Buddhist tradition for several years. And then 12 years ago, I found this shamanic path, which for me was really, I don't know, there was something about this work that really felt like home for me. It just felt like I'd finally arrived somewhere where I could really dive into this whole thing.
Find your passion, right?
Yeah.
Tell me, what's been the most challenging aspect of your work and how have you overcome that?
I think as I started to work with energy, I started to really become so much more sensitive, not only to myself, but to everything around me. So for quite a while, I was in quite an overwhelmed state where I could feel the energy of people. I could feel the energy in rooms. I could feel the energy of everything going on around me, not only my own, but others. So that for me was quite for several years, really learning and understanding what was mine and what wasn't. So the ability to really kind of not push away, but just be able to be in my own space energetically and not take on everything that was around me. So yeah, that was quite a strong learning to kind of put all of that in place and understand where I was in the world, energetically speaking.
All right. Tell us an important moment in your career that pretty much changed your direction and how you ended up coming to Peru.
Yeah, so like you said earlier, was this just a passion or is this work? So for me, when it changed into work, was I started to receive guidance, internal guidance in the form of visions and messages. I could see one of the mountains here, which I didn't really know why I was seeing that or what it was, but it's one of the mountains in the 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐫𝐬 vision that seemed to be an important guide. And I was seeing visions of that mountain asking me to come here. And my healing started to change and become more strong. And then, yeah, over the last year or two, that was when I really, really listened to this and then started to put into place to come back to Peru, because I'd been here in 2016 twice. But yeah, several years of other things happening and going on. And then, yeah, this last year or two, I started to really feel that call strongly. So I stepped into it and said yes.
Hey, so you found your happy place. You're one of the few people that has, which is awesome. In your opinion, what are the key qualities or skills that have contributed to your success along the way?
Yeah, I think, like I said, this growing sensitivity that I think I probably always had, but never really harnessed it or never really understood why I was experiencing certain things that I did in the past. Like I said, early on in my life, there was a lot of drug taking and sort of kind of just being out there, you know, not really caring particularly about my path. And I think that was part of unpacking all of that and really sort of releasing the need to just kind of be out of my head sort of thing, you know?
Yep.
And I think that was really what was turning point and how really understanding that I am a sensitive being and that I am able to sense things energetically very deeply. Also the ability to really deeply listen. I think those two things were really powerful in my path that allow me to be a good healer, really.
Yeah, fair enough. How do you yourself stay motivated and continue to innovate in your field, Natalie?
So I think, well, I know that I receive messages quite a lot, or guidance really, and that I feel there's something in me and I don't really know how to explain it that knows that I want to help people. I know that that's why I'm here, that's my gift, that's my offering. And when I'm not doing that, I feel like something's missing somehow. So yeah, the innovation really comes from inside. It's not something that I think, oh, I wish I could do that. It's something really innately in me that I've just allowed to grow and grow. And the more I've allowed it to grow, I've opened to that offering. So awesome. Yeah, it's really that. It's connecting to that continually.
Very interesting. Tell us about a recent project or achievement you're particularly proud of, please.
Well, it will be moving here to Peru because, yeah, last year I came as a volunteer. I felt really called to come back to Peru. That was happening over a sort of about a year or so that I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I could feel that I wanted to come back. So I was able to secure a position. I was here for 5 months volunteering. And within that time, I just had such a strong message and calling within me that originally I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to live in Peru. But the more I was here and the more I connected to that and what that meant, I felt like, yeah, that actually is the right thing. So I'm proud that I really followed my inner call, even though initially I was
resisted,
you know, mentally I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to live away. I've got a daughter and family in the UK. But it felt really important that I say yes, that I listen to what was happening inside, or like my soul voice, really, because this wasn't coming from somewhere mentally, because mentally I resisted a lot. But yeah,
those
I
connections.
said yes.
Yeah, the world's a small place these days.
Yes, over and over.
Yeah. So you can still connect with your daughter and family quite easily, you know, with Zoom and even jump on a plane for that sake. You know what I mean? The world's a smaller place. What it used to be, isn't it?
Yeah,
tell
absolutely.
Me, what advice would you give someone aspiring to follow in your footsteps? What would you tell them?
I would say that the biggest thing is to trust first. I think that for me on my journey, and I've seen it in other people as well, that we have an idea and then we try to control the path. We try to really get there. And what I've seen is that actually it was the opposite for me, that I continually let go, continually tried to trust the voice or the desire inside and just allow the universe to show you what's next. I feel like often people don't trust. That's what I see so much, that we don't trust what's coming. We don't trust, we can't see what's next. So yeah, that piece, that trust piece is really big for me. And I would say that if anybody is starting out in either this path or any other path, really, is to just keep trusting, keep taking the steps, keep trusting, but to try not to control everything, because that's when we control, for me, that's when often we get disappointed when things don't go the way we want, or we can't see the things that are sort of way in the distance. So yeah, the trust piece is big for me, and that would be my advice.
Yeah. Well, you need rainbow. You need rain to see rainbows, don't you? So it can't be good all the time. Can't always be up, guys.
Exactly.
It's a challenge, guys. It's a challenge. And in a lot of the time, we call this thing a gut feeling, guys. And if you've got this gut feeling, learn to trust your gut a lot more. I've learned that as I got older. A lot of the time, I ignored it to my detriment, you know. And now I realize when you get this sort of feeling and it's very strong, it's quite often a good idea to go with it, you know, and see where the journey takes you. Excuse me. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future, Natalie?
Yeah, so I've just started offering journeys here. So I call them soul journeys. Basically, it's either a one-to-one journey or for groups. And what they're about is really exactly what I've just been talking about. So my journey that I've experienced here, I'm kind of condensing that down into 10 days or 14 days of a journey. I've just done my first one with a guest who already experienced some transformations and changes. And when she got home, there were more changes back home as well. And what that journey is really about, it's very simple. It's really connecting to the land here. The land's super potent for change. But it's really starting to, what I've just said, starting to dive into trusting, to deep listening, to really connecting back to ourselves, because often we're very in our heads and we've forgotten to connect to the rest of our being, which has got a lot of wisdom. You know, if we want answers, we've got them inside, really. You know, we're really conditioned into reading loads of things on the internet or trying to find somebody else's answer. But these journeys are about starting to listen to our own answers, starting to connect back to ourselves, because we have got everything we need. And the land here is just so energetic. You know, there's a lot of ancient wisdom here. There is in all of the land across the world. You know, it's not just here in Peru. But those journeys are about connecting back to ourselves, connecting back to our land and our environments.
Well, there's a lot of history there. A lot of history there, isn't there, in Peru, the whole area? A lot of, enormous amount of history. Tell our listeners and people watching this today, what's the best way to reach out and find out more about your soul healing journeys and a bit more about you? What's the best way?
Yeah, so I've got various places. I have an Instagram page, Facebook page, and TikTok, but I've also got a website, NatalieGray.org. You can see on there the services that I offer. There's a little bit about me. There's also a page about these new journeys that I'm offering as well that gives plenty of information. And I think I'm not sure if you're sharing the page links, but
indeed we are. Across 14 different platforms.
My pages as well, Natalie Gray Soulwork, are my lovely social pages.
Natalie, before we wrap it up, tell us an interesting fact about yourself that most people don't know, please.
Okay, well, a couple of years ago, I started to receive and channel light language. So that is something that is just a higher frequency vibration, and it comes in the form of hand movements. I see it visually and it's spoken. It sounds quite unusual. It often can sound a little bit like almost like Spanish, actually. It's funny that I'm here. My partner actually says, wow, there's some sort of sounds and syllables in there that almost sound a bit Spanish. But yeah, that started coming a few years ago. And I often use it in my healings. Sometimes it comes through in ceremony. But it's a way to bring in higher vibrational energy that helps us grow and open.
Okay, thanks. All right, thanks, Natalie. You've been a very interesting guest. And guys, if you want to know more about Natalie and hear her story and other guests we've had on the show, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And guys, if you want to be on the show, please feel free to reach out. I mean, it's not about us, it's all about you. We put this across 14 different platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Reddit, Snapchat, the whole nine yard, LinkedIn, and of course YouTube, with all your social media links, guys, so people can reach out, have a virtual cup of coffee, and find out more about you. That's what it's all about. But thanks for being a guest on the show today, Natalie. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.